Good.
Hi, I'm Saf,
I'm Yassine.
And I'm Steven.
and we are the lipids group. So what are lipids? Lipids are like a group of molecules that are in the same family because they all share a common trait, which is that they are not soluble in water. Because lipids are nonpolar and water is a polar molecule, they do not mix well and therefore they are not soluble in water. And fats, which is also referred to as triglycerides, are a main component of lipids. And there is a glycerol and 3 fatty acid chains connected together. Peter was not here, so we don't have our unsaturated fatty acid. And so there's 2 types of fatty acids, which is the saturated one and the unsaturated one that we don't have right now. So saturated fatty acids are fatty acids that do not have any double bonds, while an unsaturated fatty acid is a fatty acid that has a double bond. And this is the glycerol molecule, and that is the choline molecule, and that's the phosphate group.
Okay, so now I'm going to present to you how a dehydration reaction occurs between the fatty acid chains and the glycerol molecule. So essentially, this is a saturated because it contains the maximum amount of hydrogen atoms. So how the dehydration reaction works is the hydroxyl group, it would be completely removed, and then one of the hydrogens would be this hydrogen would be removed. So as you remove this, you would have a H2O molecule right over here. So, and then you would connect, and then the carbon would connect with the oxygen right here, and then that's how one chain would connect, and then the same would occur. This hydroxyl will be removed, this hydrogen will be removed, and then the carbon will connect with the oxygen. And then the unsaturated, the difference between unsaturated and saturated is the saturated again has the maximum amount of hydrogen atoms. Unsaturated has a kink bent because of its double bonds. And Peter, what he was going to bring today is a polyunsaturated, meaning that it has more than 2 double bonds, while a monounsaturated only has 1 double bond. So then that is a triglyceride. And then for a phospholipid, what would occur is this hydrogen over this over here, it would bond this part of the this end of the molecule. It would bond with the oxygen here, the phosphate group, negatively charged. It would bond here, and then this molecule, which is called choline, this oxygen here, it would bond with the hydrogen here, and this doesn't occur with dehydration. These are ions, and this makes the head of a phospholipid. And what phospholipids do is they are the structural component of cell membranes, and they form lipid bilayers where the heads, which are hydrophilic, face the watery environment, and the tails, which are inside the layer, are hydrophobic. And then...
Okay, so in order for our bodies to digest the fat, we have to break the triglyceride back down into its monomers. So we have our water molecule here, and then the water molecule would separate back into its hydrogen atom and its hydroxyl group. And the fat would separate from the glycerol, and the hydrogen atom would combine back with the oxygen, and the hydroxyl group would combine back with the fat, and then these 2 would be separated.
And then we have cholesterol over here. So then, as you can see here, the structure, these are 4 fused rings. This is the structure of cholesterol. And essentially, cholesterol is a hormone, which is also the precursor of making other hormones, such as sex hormones. And then these many cholesterol molecules, they would bond together. And then that is cholesterol. And then this is a hormone. And then essentially here, choline. Essentially, what this does, this is the function of this molecule is it's responsible for the synthesis of phospholipid components in the cell membrane, and a fat is responsible for long-term energy storage, and then it stores the energy into cells called adipose cells, and then you would use the energy whenever the fat is there, whenever you need it. And then this concludes our presentation. Thank you.